If you're new to leatherwork, figuring out which leather weight to use for your project can feel like trying to guess someone's shoe size from across the street. Too thick and your project stiff as a board, too thin and well, you've got a floppy mess. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I choose leather weights for different types of projects, what works, what doesn't, and how to avoid wasting good material on the wrong build. Let's start with the basics. Leather is usually measured in ounces. 1 ounce equals about 1/64th of an inch, or roughly about 0.4 millimeters. So 4 ounce leather is about 1.6 millimeters thick. Here's the general scale I use. 2 to 3 ounce leather, also known as 0.8 to 1.2 millimeters, is very thin and very flexible. 4 to 5 ounce leather, or 1.6 to 2 millimeters, is the sweet spot for small goods. 6 to 7 ounce leather, or 2.4 to 2.8 millimeters, is sturdy and still workably flexible, and then 8 ounces and up is basically a belt or armor. If you're in Europe, you'll usually see this measured in millimeters instead of ounces. It's the same concept, just different units. Now here's how I break it down by project type. First, let's go over wallets. For wallets, especially slim ones, I stick to 2 to 3 ounce for the interior and maybe 4 ounces for the outer shell. You want it to stay compact in the pocket. If you stack up a few 5 ounce pieces, your wallet's going to be thicker than the cash you're carrying, so you want to be careful with that. Next, let's talk about small bags and pouches. For small crossbody bags, I usually use about 4 to 5 ounce leather for the body. It gives structure without being too stiff. For pocket panels or linings, I'll drop down to about 1 to 2 ounce leather to keep things lightweight and flexible. It's all about balance, and when you have pockets, you definitely want to use thinner leather for those so that they're more flexible. Next, let's talk about belts and straps. You typically want belts and straps to be pretty sturdy, and you don't want a lot of flexing happening. You're going to want to look at 8 to 10 ounce leather here. Thicker veg tan ideally. If you're cutting corners with belt and straps with 6 ounce leather, don't be surprised if the strap stretches like a cheap rubber band. I haven't made too many of these next ones, but let's talk about notebook covers and sheets. I would go for about 5 to 6 ounce leather for notebook covers. Enough body that it lays flat but isn't bulky. And for sheets, I would go to 6 to 8 ounce leather because it gives you a good protection without turning into a brick on your belt. And the last thing I want to talk about for this section, if you're going to be doing layered projects, if you're doing a wallet and if you're going to have the cover layered on top of 2 pockets and how that's going to look, it's definitely something to think about. And this is where you have to plan ahead. If you've got 3 layers of 4 ounce leather, you're already at ½ an inch thick after stitching. For layered projects, I'll often mix weights, maybe 5 ounce for the outside and then 2 ounce for the inner pieces. That way it gives you structure without the bulk. Now let's talk about some other factors that affect my choice of leather. So leather weight isn't the only variable. It's just one piece of the puzzle. Another thing to think about is temper. So some leathers are naturally stiffer or more floppy than others. Another thing is stretch. Chrome tan leathers often have more give than vegetable tanned leathers. If I'm using chrome tan, I might go a little thicker just to avoid stretch or distortion in wear. Next is tools and techniques. If I'm hand stitching, I don't mind thicker leather, but if I'm skiving or folding tight corners, 4 ounces is usually my upper limit for comfort. So that's definitely something to think about when you're trying to figure out which leather to use. What do you feel more comfortable using and why? And then lastly, let's talk about some hardware. Chicago screws, D-rings, and rivets all affect how much thickness you can reasonably stack before those things stop sitting flush. So adjust the weights based on that too. If you have larger or smaller Chicago screws or rivets, you definitely want to make sure that your thickness isn't going to affect how effective those pieces of hardware are. Before I commit to a build, especially one with layers or hardware, I do a super simple check. I go ahead and I collect leather scraps that are the same weight, and I go ahead and stack them in the exact same order that I am planning to do it with the real project. I'll look at this and it'll give me a good representation on how thick the actual final piece is going to be. And then what I'll end up doing is I'll go ahead and punch through the scrap pieces of leather and set a rivet through them or a Chicago screw, whichever hardware I plan on using. And then just to check to make sure that the hardware is going to sit nice and flush instead of looking like a lumpy sandwich. It's really quick, it costs nothing, and it'll save you from discovering midway through that your strap loop doesn't close or your rivet's shaft is just too short. So that's how I choose leather weights for each project, based on structure, layering, and how the thing's actually going to be used. So if you're still unsure, you can start with 4 to 5 ounce leather, also known as 1.6 millimeter to 2 millimeter leather. It's a great middle ground, and you can always tweak from there. I hope you found this helpful. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and if you've got any questions specifically on a project that you're working on, go ahead and drop it in the comments. If you want to check out my leather work, head over to peeredleather.com. Also, if you want to see more leatherworking content like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.